Okay, so this is the same deal as that last function we were just working on. What I'm going to do is I'm going to square both sides in order to get rid of the square root. That gives me y squared equals arc cosine of 10x. Okay, and then I'm going to do the same kind of trick where I'm going to do this substitution. Okay, and because the last time we're going to have a du dx, I'm going to just take the derivative right here. I'm going to say du dx equals 2y, then using the chain rule, I'm going to say dy dx. Alright, and then so now let's ignore that for a minute. I'm going to write u equals the arc cosine of 10x. Okay, and then I'm going to rewrite that in terms of cosine so I don't have to worry about the arc cosine. 10x, and then I'm going to draw my triangle so I can do the trig with it. Let's see, cosine's adjacent over hypotenuse. I'm going to square that side, take the square root. So now we're going to come back and do the derivative. So the derivative of cosine is negative sine u du dx equals the derivative of 10x, which is just 10. And then I'm going to divide both sides by the negative sine of u, and I know that the reciprocal of sine is cosecant, so I'm going to write that as negative 10 cosecant of u. And then I'll look up my function. Let's see, the cosecant is the reciprocal of the sine, so I'm going to do 1 over that mess. So that's, I'm going to just jump to this. I'm going to say I'm going to write 10 times 1 over that, which is going to be 1 times, let's see, so I can just write this 1 minus 100x squared. Okay, so that's what du dx is. Du dx equals negative 10 over the square root of 1 minus 100x squared. Okay, so now I got to worry about that du dx, and if I go back up to that work I did originally, I see that du equals this. Right? That's what du equals, right? So I'm just going to come back down here to my other function here, and I'm going to replace du dx with 2y dy dx. 2y dy dx equals negative 10 over the square root of 1 minus 100x squared. Okay, so now let's solve this for dy dx. So I'm going to divide both sides by 2y. And of course I'm going to do that simplification in a minute. So I know 2 goes into 10 5 times. So negative 5 over y times the square root of 1 minus 100x squared. And then we want to get rid of the y. So if we go back up to the original, we see that y equals this mess, right? So we know y equals that. So I'm just going to replace the y with the square root of the arctan of 10x, and then you can do some cleaning up on that. I did. That's the answer I gave, was a cleaned up answer. So I'm going to do negative 5 over the square root of the arc cosine of 10x times the square root of 1 minus 100x squared. And of course, since those are both under the square roots, I could just write a single square root. Okay, so that's how I got that answer. I didn't check it on Wolfram. You can see if I'm wrong.